People think that entrepreneurship is all about the business.
That's not true. Absolutely not true. Once you know yourself, who you are, what do you want, what you already know within yourself, you will definitely be successful. That I guarantee you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Personal Development for Entrepreneurs. In this episode today, we're doing Perception versus Reality, why you should understand the difference, part 2. In the previous episode, we covered some of the basics of what perception is, what reality is, and why it's very important to understand the difference, and why knowing the that our perception is not always accurate is very important. Clearly, this is a subject which is deep, and one episode wasn't going to cover it. So we've got Dr. Venga here again to talk about this subject and for us to go a little deeper. Good evening, Dr. Venga.
Good evening, Ikram. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to all our viewers as well.
Yeah, exactly. I hope the 2022 has been left behind. We are what, 3-4 days into the new year?
Yes.
I hope that 2023 will be a good year. Huh? No perception. Huh?
Well, we hope it'll be a good year. Yes,
I think so. I think we'll come out of it anyway. Okay, Ikram. Ever since we did the last episode, I was thinking to myself and getting deeper and deeper into this question of perception. Just little explanation. Now, is the sky blue?
No.
But we see it as blue, right?
Correct.
But the space is black. Am I correct?
That's right.
Complete black. How come it's blue? Huh? Isn't that a perception?
Yeah.
Which means our ability to see through, and we can only see up to what we want to see and cannot see beyond that. The water is clear, right?
Correct.
In the ocean is blue, right?
That's right.
Perception is reality, right?
Yes.
But is it reality?
In reality, it is not blue.
See, Ikram, take sunset as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Are we observing sunset, or we are moving away from the sun? It's moving away from the sun,
moving
isn't it?
Away. Yeah.
Because the earth is rotating, and then we're going away. The sun is stagnant one, isn't it?
Correct.
You see, this is why the Nobel Prize, the 3 prizes they gave, for 3 fellas, huh?
Mm-hmm.
The universe is not real. That's why they got that Nobel Prize. You know that, huh? They
correct. Yeah.
Within whatever they know up to now, they have proven. But Vedanta talked about it thousands of years ago. We live in illusion that there is the difference between mind and matter and human, and the Indian civilization have talked about it long before. So our history is not real. You know that, isn't it?
Yes.
It's not real because the history is written by people who want to influence you, not the way the history is. It's a perception, right?
Correct.
Correct or not? Are you a male or a female?
Male.
You're a male, right?
Yep.
That's who you want to be. That's who I want to be. But I'm also a female. Because I got 2 cells, one from my father, one from my mother, right? Like you too have got, but you chose to be a male. And therefore, you think like a male, you act like a male, you are a male.
Mm-hmm.
that perception or real?
Perception.
You see what I'm saying? So perception is real, but at the same time, is real perception. I mean, there are many things, My my concern is like that, Many of us, let me give you another example. Someone told me, if you go to the shop, the food is fantastic and blah, 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 give a whole lot. And now I perceive that place to be, wow, wape, this is the best place to go to. And then I actually go there and then I'm disappointed. Why? Yeah?
Because your expectations are very high.
Because the way I perceived it when you told me the story about the rest, I'm just, hasn't that happened to you, Ikram?
Yes, it has.
Okay. Now, bring that to reality, which is some people talk to you, okay? But when they explain this and this, take your own business and it gives a lot of things, but are they talking from reality or their perception of that reality based on their own experience, based on what they know, based on what they have done, memory? Correct or not? Correct or not, Ikram? So, unless and until we are very clear, like for instance, I'm talking to you in the screen, and between you and me, there is a computer, your computer, my computer, and within the computer, there are components of parts and wires, and I don't know what else lies there, which is taking this noise that I'm making and transforming that into a structure, and then delivering it to you in your screen, and then now to the rest of the whole world that we are speaking to. And they think this is real, right? But there are lots of behind things, right?
Correct.
So between illusion, perception, and all that, it's quite real, Ikram. And the problem is we don't know how to differentiate between reality, perception, and what is really there. There's a subjective reality, objective reality, subjective perception, objective perception, and a whole lot of world, which, boy, oh boy, we'll be spending here about until the day I die, not talking about the same subject. So the Nobel Prize is like that. In the sense that they are saying that this universe is not real. There is no real universe. It's your perception of what you see is what you see. What you hear is what you hear. What you smell is what you smell. What you taste is what you taste. What you feel and touch, that's what you feel and touch. That's what you want to feel, and that's what you want to touch. So there's a reality between what we perceive and what is real.
Right.
There is, correct, you understand that part of it. You can understand that. Like you say, I want to go to the market, buy a mango, blah, blah, this, that, the other. You go to the mango, you go to the market, you buy the mango, and your expectation of that mango so profound that actually when you take it home and cut it and then eat it, what the hell? It's not so sweet, no? What is real? You bought the mango, is real. Okay? What you perceive is inside the mango is a perception. When you tasted it, it was not the way you perceived it, but it is something, just a mango, no?
Yeah.
Why does this happen to us? Why?
I'm not sure.
It's because it's simple, See, we are born with a structure. When we made ourselves inside the mother's womb, all this was done, but it came with data. Your ancestry data, your karmic data, whatever, it came with that. That's why have you ever met a human being whose nose is at the back of the head?
No.
No, you never will, because why? It's one human, the first human that came about it, and maybe there were other human also at the same time, but they must have come from one place or two places. Nobody knows, no? But somehow or other, genetically, you and me are the same. You, Ikram, 100%, you and me, we have the same DNA. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. We are from the same civilization. Yes or not?
Yep. Yes.
You are. Okay. So like that. So this is that perception or is that real?
Real.
It's real, right? I mean,
Yep.
I'm a human, you are a human. We have the same DNA, we can test it, blah, blah, blah. But you have grown to this level with your own memory, which you yourself have absorbed, or you went to school, you read and experience and whatever, all that data you have inside you, right? And these data influence what you see. Will it or will it not?
Yes.
It does, right? So every time you want to do something, you refer to all this data that you have, which is from, in your case, about what, 40, how old are you now? Sorry, 40?
I am 44 now.
44 years old, okay? At 44, you have accumulated a lot of data, experience, all that, okay? All this is sitting inside you. So when you see something, do you think your data is influencing you on what you see?
Yes, definitely.
It does, right? So therefore, we are selective. That's why subjective reality, subjective perception, and a whole lots of things that happen. We cannot separate the two. We don't know how to separate the two. We mix them together. Have you ever heard people tell a story, the same story in one conversation? Say an hour later, you and the same person is outside and he tells the same story, he or she tells the same story. You find some of the parts is different.
Correct.
Yes or not?
Yeah.
Why does that happen? It happens because we are being influenced by whatever experience we have had before. When we tell the story, we will either enhance it. We'll always make it interesting to the other person. So we don't tell, we tell the truth, but it is sort of, a little bit here and there. The story will get out of it. Perception. Okay. Now, first, because every perception, whatever you see, if you don't look at it objectively or subjectively, if you look at it, there are two different versions of it. What do I mean by being objective? You see, it's because we have these sensory organs, eyes, the ear, smell, taste, touch, all these, they have a limitation. There is a limitation of what they see, what they hear, what they smell, and then the brain is a clever one inside. It fills the gap. It sort of puts the dots together. You've heard of people that you know, you've heard of people say, connect the dots.
Yeah.
The brain does the dot connection, and you have an idea. That idea is either objective or subjective, meaning that according to what you know and what you understand and how much you will form a kind of a perception based subjectively on this. Or you might say, hey, hold it now. Or you might look at it very objectively. Are you capable of doing that? Or are you influenced by your sensory perception, your emotion? And humans have a lot of emotions, right?
Absolutely. In most circumstances, we are definitely influenced by emotion, past experiences, and everything.
Why? Yeah. Why?
I suppose we don't separate emotion from rational thought.
But why, Ikram? Why can't we put it aside? Why?
For me, if you were to ask me, I think it's because we're just not conscious of that fact.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, but now you're brought in another area which is from here to kingdom come, you know. It's a huge consciousness. Okay, that's another one. You too much. Okay, yes, yeah. Because we don't know how to separate it. We are not taught in school. No education is willing to deal with this, because it's detrimental to any government in the world to teach children about, hey, this is not real. You got to think like this. You got to, don't want to teach, because maybe surely they know how to teach, but they don't want to teach. Why? Because then everybody will question you. You cannot be subservient anymore. The idea is to control you, right?
Mm.
We are not in an illusion, right?
Yeah.
Correct? All the wars, all that's happening is because why? They want to control you, right? I mean, you know, even Malaysia is an example. They want to control you, right? They cannot allow you to do what you want to do. Am I correct or not?
That's right. Yeah.
Then they say, hey, this is the constitution, this is the rule, this is like, you must fit within this frame, right? You step outside of this, I will punish you, right? Correct. They try to put you into some kind of a cage. Am I correct or not?
That's right.
That's why you have socialism, communism, all sorts of left and right, all sorts of thinking people. So they don't know how. That's one of the reasons why, the way you can educate yourself is to say, okay, simple thing, Lana. Hey, I'm emotional about this. I'm looking at this, I'm getting emotion. So can I take this emotion and leave it aside? Have I done it? Yes. Now look at it again. What is it that you're looking at? Is this emotional or is it real? A gap, a small gap. If you can create that little space, voila, you can see between your objective reality and subjective reality. As an example, okay, you develop business plans, right? Is that an objective business plan or is a subjective business plan?
It depends. It depends whether the business plan is based on facts, grounded in factual stuff. Many times it might be a stretch of the imagination.
Ikram, isn't it true that your back data, what has happened is reality? That is what has happened. Going forward, is never the real data. It is a subjective data.
Yes.
Correct or not? You hope the condition be like that, like this, like that, and therefore you put the number. And
Absolutely.
correct or not? See, again, that's why in my mind, the modern marketing, the experts and all the rest of it, they are really BS, no? Because you are doing a subjective plan. You hope to do this, provided the condition is 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. That's all. Subjective reality. I don't know. Ikram.
Correct. That's right.
Most of the time, you don't. Now, let me put it this way. In December 2019, okay, the world was just going off and China was going on. Everything was going off like that. Very good, isn't it? 1st of January 2020, what happened? COVID came up, right? Then everything is down the hill, right? It is still down the hill, right?
Right.
So all your objective and subjective, all that, what happened?
Down the drain.
You see what I mean? So we live on illusion. We live on subjective. That it will like that. Now, instead of saying, hey, instead of one production center, now we are saying, just in case, just in time. You remember just in time? Now it's come just in case something happens. So everything has changed, right?
Yeah.
Are we in the real situation again? No, we are not. Far from it. We're testing out new things. And you think that will be there for another 50 years? I don't know, Ikram. You can only make an objective perception. It's still a perception. Objectively, you can look at something and make a plan for that particular period and review that constantly. That is why good companies review their plan every month for 12 months. Every time they meet, they review 1 month. It may be up or down, but changing all the time in order to come to subjective to objective reality. Are you prepared to do that kind of thing or not? Going forward.
It's, it requires a lot of conscious effort.
Of course. First and foremost, the people who were living, you are still young, 40 years old. Those who are 50 and above, they have to relearn themselves. Because why? They think the world will go on the way it should be until 2019. 2020 onward, the world is not real. Nothing is factual. No numbers are accepted. We look at it month for month. They're doing a budget every month. And Ikram, this is the best part of it. There were some small companies around the world, a few in America, few in Europe, a few in Japan, a lot in India. They were doing month-to-month budget. They look at it every month. And based on that, they go forward. Do you understand? They don't plan for a long time. They plan short time because things could change. We don't know. You will notice in our country, as an example, our budget from 1957 till now, which of the budget have been programmed and it happened exactly as per the budget? Tell me.
I don't think any of it has happened exactly according to the program.
Exactly. Why? Huh?
Unexpected things happen. Management of the budgets are not so great.
Actually, we are using a model which was created by the West, isn't it? Correct or not, Kram? We were using a way of thinking from the Western world and said, that's what it is. That's what we need to do. We never even looked at, hey, does this fit our country or not? Is this what we should be doing? I ask you another question, okay? Is this subjective or objective? Ask you. We know every year there will be flood in Kelantan, Terengganu, all the way East Coast. We know that, right? And people will die, right? How come we have not done anything about it to reduce it at least? Simple answer, lah, Ikram. Either we don't have, well, we don't have the will to want to do it, lah. Period, lah, no? If we have the will, we'll make it happen, lah, no?
Correct.
But you don't have the will, we'll never make it happen, lah, no? So we all can give reason for this. Oh, that is more important. This we give a lot of stories, lah. But what I'm saying is, we know the monsoon will come. Yes or not, Ikram?
Yep, we do.
I've seen it for 83 years, lah, no? It'll come. But this is what subjective and objective. If it's objectively done, you can do very little. Because you know the reality. This is the amount of money you have. This is what needs to be done. So we got to fit the size. So we are using this concept all the time, subjective. But we must understand what is objective and subjective. Let me give you another quick example, then move forward, okay? For instance, okay? When you talk to me on certain things that you talk to me, okay? Do you look upon me for, say, a suggestion or a sharing of my experience? Do you look upon it objectively or subjectively?
I look upon it subjectively, actually.
Okay.
I mean, because what you're explaining could be from your experience, and then it's how do I tailor it to my own experience.
So you are looking at it from the subjective point of view, and then objectively see how this information can fit into what I am doing and whether it's workable in this situation or not. You do that. So does everybody else. In the 3 years that I worked on time management with people that I work with on this type of window thing, I mean, on computer and all that, I have learned a great lot of things about time, about people's perception on time. And all of them that I met with the exception of maybe not even one, they are very subjective in their approach to managing their time. Not even one. But even so, Ikram, I must say, I have a 100% success with every single one of them. I have made them realize that there is a limitation to your ability in terms of time. That there is a limit. The time is a limit. But within that limit, you have to deliver. Between your promise and your delivery, you better match. You want to deliver 100% at a given time, won't happen. And so either you compromise on the quality or you extend the time. So one of the things I'm learning is because their understanding of this time is not even objective or subjective. It is just a passing thing. Because time is an illusion word, Ikram. Correct or not? I mean, can you really measure a time? All the clock we have made and the watch and all the rest of it, including the big invention the Indians did in the very beginning and all that, it's just a kind of a framework, very subjective. So therefore, Ikram, it is something that we need to understand. So how can I make it simpler and easier for people to understand? Okay, first of all, how I use, take me as an example. I am absolutely clear every single day. What is it that I have to do and must do and get it finished with? Taking into account that I am in control of the situation around me and the people I'm with. But even with that, I get pockets of, no, I can't make it. I'm not well. It happens, but still, I then have something else that can slot into me. I can make that happen. A person who is not objectively using his understanding of himself and applying what he has to do on a daily basis will have difficulty. He'll be stressed out. Because why? The demands are coming from different sources. Your own demand. Okay, first of all, understand that this is a human body. This is a human, right?
Yep.
Is it able to recognize this is real, this is not real?
Yes, it should be able to recognize.
Well, it's like this. If I look upon it objectively, the answer will be yes. So let me take an example. I have 6 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night, my time slot. What is it that I can accomplish during this time slot? Provided there is no interruption, there is no some things that goes wrong. This is what I want to do. But in reality, does it happen to, can someone do that day after day?
No.
Why not?
Because distractions will happen, emergencies will take place, your environment will affect you.
And you can't deliver it on time. Yes?
Correct.
So, am I therefore not an objective person? I'm subjective, therefore I allow all this interference to come about.
Yeah, you've not been objective.
Well, that's why the reality is that I will get interrupted. The reality is something will go wrong. I need to take into account those things that possibly can happen.
Correct.
Are we getting somewhere?
Yes.
Understand on that? So there's a subjective truth And there is an objective truth in this.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Makes
Yeah.
sense or not? Does it?
Then-
I don't know whether that makes
yes.
sense or not.
No, it makes absolute sense. We've got a few more minutes left on the program. Perhaps Venga, I can ask you a question.
Yeah.
Can you? I mean, you are someone who looks at things very objectively. That means you try. Almost secondary to you when you look at anything. You separate emotion. You look at the things factually, and then decide how you want to make decisions. Right? Can you share from your own experience so that our viewers can understand this? How you move from simply perceiving things to becoming conscious about how you were perceiving, and then separating fact from fiction.
Very good question, Ikram. Very good question. I think this is the key to individuals, okay? The first thing is that you must be able to control your thought process. Like I'm sitting with you now, and we are talking about this. I cannot allow anything else to come into my mind. I have learned this skill myself. I've trained my mind, exclusively trained my mind. And you know what? That's exactly what the lady who made the tape on the Nobel Prize winners concluded and said this. And that's what Vedanta also have done, that the ability to control our mind from going to somewhere else or doing something else while attending to what needs to be done. To control our five senses and confine it to an area and be able to only concentrate on that and get it done with without allowing anything else to interfere with it. This is my experience. How do I do that? I learned this very little by little. First of all, if I'm talking to you, I will take notes. I was told in the beginning, it is rude to take note if I'm talking to somebody. I said, I don't care what the Western world thinks. I think this is what I think. Because I'm not educated well enough, so I will take down. If you're angry with me, it's okay. You chase me out, I'll go out. I will take notes. And I did that even with medical doctors. I took notes on the spot. I don't know. The more I wrote down, and then there are many things I couldn't answer. I go back, I sit and I think about it. I spend a lot of time thinking through, getting the clarity of their question. What exactly is their question? What do they expect? When they ask this question, what's behind their thoughts? I always ask, what is behind what they're asking? Although I can't ask them directly, I begin to synthesize it, look at it. So clearly, when I'm talking to you, you're talking to me, okay? Even in doing this what is expected? I don't know what people expect, but I know your expectation. So I'm now talking to you, Ikram. And so when I'm talking to you, I will only allow my mind to think of this and nothing else. The rest of what it's doing, it must go automatic. This is what training is all about. Your mind management, managing what you do. You do not allow anything else. So the lighting must be correct. The surrounding must be correct. You don't have your music and what have you and all the rest of it, nothing will work. And a single task at one time. Take one task, get it done. What you have done, To the best of your ability, leave it, go to the next one. And I always give a gap. I give a gap of 20 minutes between one and the other. So there is time for me to recover. That's why my entire design is based on 20 minutes. So writing was about all because of my own education, in the sense that I never went to school. So I learned myself. And that's why the writing allowed me to manage my mind a little better. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. But I try. That's how the tool that is needed for this is you must write down, and don't write fast, because when you write in scribbling line, you may not be able to know what you have written. So when you write with block letters. And you know what, Ikram? One problem with me, I am not good at spelling. You understand? And therefore, the sound is very important when you're done. So that's a number one thing. And then if I'm not certain, I will not give you an answer. I won't react. I'll think through, think about it. And then when I think about the response, I'm writing down my response, writing down the response and examining whether that is the correct response or not. Will that explain it well? I won't just shoot from my mouth. So instead of reacting, I will respond. And sometimes I don't respond immediately. I will take a little time. I say, I'll come back to you later, and then find a little time and then come back to you. Okay, or can I come back to you later? Something like that, okay? Otherwise, you see, again, sometimes we know the answer, but we must ask ourselves, hey, is this the answer he's looking for? And is this answer, is it possible to be done? Or if I give this answer, that answer is only to please the person, which means that, you are telling a lie. You understand? All this thing. So the tool of managing perception is to understand what is it that is being told to me now, and am I paying attention to it now? A lot of us very bad listeners. I mean, 99% of people that I know of, Ikram, are very bad listeners. The higher they are, the worse they are. Because while you are talking, they are thinking of asking for 4 more questions. Maybe related to what you're saying, but something else around it. So distort you. You must be a clever salesman to get around it.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? Huh? Does that make any sense at all?
It does. It does. Thank you very much, Dr. Venga. We've come to the end of our time for this episode. Thank you very much for sharing things, especially from your experience and your perspective on reality. I hope what was discussed today is meaningful to you, the audience, and that you enjoyed this episode. It's our first episode for 2023, and we've been doing this now for 3 years. We're looking forward to making a lot of other videos for you throughout 2023. Thank you very much. Happy New Year again, and stay safe.
Thank you. Happy New Year.